So here we find ourselves, arms deep in the wishing well, holding to love.
Woo!
Love that's all.
Hi guys.
Steady we've kept our eye.
Welcome back.
Knowing the fear can feel like doubt. Oh, oh, oh. No point in staying safe. Oh, oh, oh.
How's everyone doing?
Just gets in the way. So let's burn the bridges down. Let's burn the bridges down. Light 'em up, no turning around.
Woo!
No escape through the ashes now.
Got some Johnny Swim on. My guest today. Very excited. Hi everyone. Welcome back to Katelyn at Noon. Tarver Talks, Tarver Time. You know what they say, gabbing away. That one might be a little long, but I do like it. Very excited about my guest today. We'll bring them on in a second. But how are you guys doing? How's your day so far? Mine has been pretty chill. I have on a jacket. This jacket with a collar shirt is interesting. But here we are. It's cloudy here, and I feel like when it gets below 75, I'm like, oh, it's cold. I need a jacket. Pretty big wimp. So I braved the grocery store last night. Really a big event these days. But I finally have some food to eat, which is nice. All right. Ugh. Sometimes this is the first time I've talked all day. And I'm like, oh, right. Yes, hello. Okay, today we have a very exciting guest. The folk duo, Johnny Swim. Very beloved. So, I'm sure we'll talk for a while. So let's go ahead and bring them on if they're here. Oh. Okay. Yeah, I think. All right. Woo! Oh,
we are here.
My cozy jacket too.
Yeah. It's cold.
I was like, it's chilly.
It's chilly, y'all.
It's a high of 71. What is this, winter?
It's freezing.
What is this?
Yeah.
Are we back in winter?
I don't understand what happened.
I'm glowing because I just took what we call in my hometown a Marietta bath. It's I grew up in the west side of Jacksonville, aka Marietta, aka find a brown person, it's probably me. And instead of showering, we just jump in the neighbor's pool.
It's the well of his seduction.
So this is my first bath of the week. Feeling great.
Oh wow, look at that. So you jump in a neighbor's pool.
Well, because we didn't have one, but now we have one. But I still jump in a neighbor's pool.
You still jump in a neighbor's pool. It can't be authentic unless it's a neighbor's pool.
That's exactly right.
That's interesting because where are you from? Is that Marietta?
Exactly. Marietta, Florida, not Marietta, Georgia.
Because I know Marietta as the city or neighborhood outside of Atlanta.
Exactly. Most people think I'm talking about Marietta, Georgia, but Marietta, Georgia is a thriving metropolis compared to Marietta, Florida. I grew up 3 blocks from a rodeo.
Oh, wow.
Duval. We got some Duval shout-outs. What's up, Duval?
Oh, shout-outs. I grew up in a small town in South Georgia. So.
Oh, no way.
So close.
Yeah. So very close to Jacksonville. It's called Glenville. There's 3,000-ish people.
Dang. There you go.
Yeah.
Wow.
2 stoplights.
That's awesome.
Dang. I remember when the McDonald's got put in, it was
woo!
Big time. People get dressed up. They'd wear a suit and get a driver.
What's the closest city?
Savannah.
Okay.
Savannah, Georgia.
Savannah,
Falls out your mouth like molasses. Is that the right?
I know, something like that.
Wow, that's good.
Rolls out your mouth like molasses.
But Jacksonville's close. Jacksonville's a couple hours away.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that. Wow, already so much in common, you guys.
I know, it's kind of unbelievable. It's pretty ridiculous.
I'm just trying to figure out, whenever I drive through small towns, on tour and stuff, I just think, what brought people to live in this place?
Probably peace.
What brought? Well, is it like were you raised there? Was it like what brought your family to a small town like that? Or were they always there? It's like mind blowing to me. I lived not.
Yeah,
like that.
No, it is pretty mind blowing. Like, I just always lived there. My dad lived there his whole life. Like, still lives across the street from his like parents.
Right.
Like, we split a driveway growing up.
Yeah.
Like,
That's wild.
That's how our brother-in-law, his sister's husband's like that. They live on the same street he grew up on, and it's just like mind blowing.
It's super charming. I mean, I think to them it'd be mind blowing for not wanting to do that.
Yeah. No, actually, we have a neighbor here, which this rarely ever happens in LA, but we have some dear friends that live a couple houses down, and the husband, Jim, has lived in the house for 52 out of 54 years. His dad, he got married, moved out of the house. His dad was like, I'm going to sell the house. Like, you guys are all married. And he was like, okay, cool, I'll buy it. And bought his dad's house. And so he's lived in it like his whole life.
So dope.
Like, I could watch a whole movie about it.
I know. It is pretty interesting. It's funny. My mom grew up in the Atlanta area. So she has like a memory, and I'm always like, Mom, are you sure? She has a memory, she says, of driving through the town
No way.
and being like, this is kind of sad, but being like, wow, I would never want to live here.
Yeah. Like, this is not for me.
And then of course, what?
Do you watch Schitt's Creek?
I don't, sadly.
Okay.
I've watched a few episodes, but I mean, it's kind of that vibe of like,
right.
Oh wow, it's like that
Like,
thing. Like, how do people end up here? Like, how does this happen? And then
and they end up there, and they love it. And they make a home there.
Still lives there, and it's a nice place to grow up. Like, it is very charming. There's something really cool about it. But my siblings, almost all of my siblings, I have 3 siblings, and 4 total. 3 out of the 4 were all out here in LA.
Oh wow!
So yeah, so my parents
who was
are
the
like,
first one to go?
My older brother and I moved out here together, like 10 years ago.
Right.
And then my younger sister came a couple years later, or like a couple years ago from now. And then our littlest brother is still in Glenville.
Oh, nice.
And my dad actually so what keeps him there really is a family business that his dad started. Selling pecans.
Oh,
that's awesome.
What?
So he makes chocolate covered pecans and like cinnamon and pralines and like peanut brittle, like for real, like chocolate factory.
So what's the proper way to say this?
Like
not
Willy
pecans. It's pecan, not pecan.
Well, I grew up saying pecan, but somehow I feel like I'm supposed to say pecan.
Well, how's your dad say it when he's selling it?
Pecan.
Oh, all right.
That's my dad's thing. He goes, it's pecan when you're talking and it's pecan when you're selling.
That's
I watched a
awesome.
movie about your dad for sure.
I know. It's a pretty insane story.
I love that.
Yeah. So I grew up and he still runs there, and then my little brother works there. So it's pretty wild.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I'm literally still sweating from my workout. A couple of the guys, we do a workout called the Tiger Kings of Quarantine on Zoom 3 days a week.
Started off as Kings of Quarantine, then we're like, let's make it Tiger King.
We upgraded it. And funny enough, it had nothing to do. Yeah, it did. It was Tiger King Netflix. Some of the guys are on here now, and they're like, "How was that a fake? Was that a video of you on the workout?" No, I worked out. I jumped in the pool, put a shirt on. I'm wearing nothing else. I was wearing a hat, but I took that off.
Right. Who can say if you're wearing pants or not? None of us know.
Nobody knows. Did you see that one where the news anchor was wearing just his boxers?
Yes.
On the bottom of it? That was awesome.
Yes.
I as I was getting ready for this, because before this I was in workout clothes as well, and I was like, all right, let me put a real shirt on, and I thought about changing my pants, and I decided, no.
Why? Yeah.
Why?
No one's gonna see my pants.
Honestly, why? I put on jeans and I don't know why. I'm uncomfortable.
It's because you're the mayor.
You're the mayor now.
Like, that's the only reason to put jeans on is if you run a city.
I am. Yeah.
So you just outed yourself. You're the secret mayor of Los Angeles.
Not a lot of people know that, but I'm glad you guys do.
I haven't worn socks like outside of a workout in so long.
Oh my god.
Like, just let me put some socks and shoes on.
What are shoes? What are socks? Who knows anymore?
Socks and slides, maybe.
What's kind of fun for me is that I just had a baby like 5 months ago.
Yeah.
And so I've been wearing sweatpants basically for 5 months now.
Basically for 15 months.
Basically for 15 months. So the other day I had to like put jeans on for something, and I was like, these things fit? What? I have a whole new wardrobe because now things fit me.
Yeah, totally. Like reaching back into our closet for real clothes. We'll be like,
yeah.
oh, look at this.
Yeah, and stuff that I haven't been able to wear in like a year and a half. I'm like, yes, girl, wearing a crop top. Okay.
Okay, girl.
Why not?
Meanwhile, I'm gaining the COVID-15.
Absolutely.
And so I need new wardrobe.
Yeah, it's pretty dangerous, the amount of food we're all eating right now.
Mostly just bread. It's not even that.
Yeah, because
you make
croissants, right?
Yeah, man. Amanda's the chef of the house for sure. The
Yes.
absolute chef. She's been baking amazing
I would
sourdough
say
bread.
I'm the cook of the house.
Okay.
Chef is
No, she's
another
chef.
level. We'll say I'm the cook of the house.
And
Okay,
yeah, I bake a lot. I like butter and sugar and bread, and anything that combines butter, sugar, and bread is basically like a piece of heaven that we get here on earth. And
Yes.
so it's
and keep on
and we
the
hold on
most
to it.
private part.
And we
Not most
hold it
private,
here.
that's weird.
No, not your most private part.
No, you're
Just
Close to a
sacred areas.
Yes. No, absolutely. I agree.
I'm
You
looking like
guys
a
are
1800s lord.
my second guest. I've been doing this for like 7 weeks now. It's been insane.
no way.
I know. I just started it, and you guys are probably gonna laugh. I was like, I started it because I like needed something to do. I'm like bored, and you guys
No,
are probably
100%.
like, must be nice to be bored because
No,
you have
girl,
3
we get
small
it.
children.
Well, yeah, you did say earlier this is the first time you talking today. Normally, I've yelled twice by 8 o'clock in the morning.
Normally, I wake up to just screaming. It's unclear who's screaming, just a lot of screaming.
Sometimes it's me. My daughter, this is TMI, forgive me, but it's kind of how we roll. My daughter gets super jealous when I have to have privacy in the bathroom in the morning after coffee.
Right.
And so she wants to be
I
around
love the
for it.
detail after coffee. That was necessary.
After coffee's pretty cute.
Now,
We can all relate, okay?
Oh, man. And she'll literally try to like look behind me in the toilet. I'm like, just please leave. And normally there's some yelling around that part of the day.
Yeah,
What are you
trust me,
doing?
don't want to be in here.
Leave!
Oh, man. Such a
You need a hazmat suit. Go put your hazmat suit on.
No, we feel the same way though, because I mean we're used to just being on the road all the time, and so even with like the baby, like I told him, I was like, this is the first time where breastfeeding a baby is like such a plus, because I'm like, oh, gotta feed her, and she's at the age where she wants to look at everything, so I can't like feed her out in the living room like I used to.
Right.
So like, God, I gotta take her in the room quietly where there's nobody else yelling at me.
Yeah.
It's 25 minutes just me and her.
Just-
But I'm like, this is kind of great. I didn't have this with any of the other kids.
Because typically with the other kids, we're on tour. And
Yeah.
so
Right.
there's a party happening. There is a concert.
Or
there's
it's like
things
meet and
happening.
greet. I gotta go feed the baby. I gotta rush back, get dressed, play the show, leave the stage as soon as possible, go feed the baby again, put her down. You know, like it's like I have to schedule
She'll be in the
everything.
back of the tour bus while we're in the front dancing, like literally.
Yeah. They're
And
like,
so-
we're gonna go out. I'm like, okay, I can't go because I gotta go feed the baby. And
So
for this
she's-
one, I'm like, I gotta go feed the baby.
Yeah. Can I try?
Go take a
And
little
every
break.
other baby. Sorry, Katelyn, we talk way too much. I'll stop.
No,
every other baby.
no,
I'm not gonna
please
stop.
keep
I'm
going.
right.
This is great. This
You
is
really
the
need
point.
to put a bottle in her mouth. You really need to practice the bottle. You need to see if he'll take the bottle. You need if she'll take the bottle.
I'm like, we're home. She don't need no bottle. She
She's
got
brought up bottles 0 times.
You're like, I
In 5
really have to breastfeed. I have to go.
I mean, what's the point of pumping? We're home. You
Right.
know?
No, yeah, that is so crazy. I mean, you guys tour almost nonstop, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
And
is
you
for sure
guys-
the longest we've ever been home straight.
We've,
Like literally, I think in 8 years.
8 years, yeah. We've been in
Oh,
LA for 10
my.
years. We've been a band for 15 years since our first show was in 2005
Wow.
in Nashville at 12th and Porter in a
Amazing.
side room. We were introduced as, I'll never forget, it was a friend of mine, Sharif Iman, was hosting a songwriter night, and he let us do our first full set. And we had like 3 or 4 songs, and he comes out, and Sharif has like, he always had a good crowd to see him play. And so he had us come on right before him. He's like, ladies and gentlemen, please, I'm so honored to introduce you for the very first time on stage, a couple dear friends of mine, Abner and Amanda. Put your hands together and welcome to the stage, Jimmy Swings.
It's the first of many, many weird introductions.
Oh man.
These are
I've
the
had
Jimmy
some of
Swings.
those too. A lot of times it's like Katelyn Tarver. Kathleen Tarver.
Close. But no. Yeah.
Wait,
Jimmy
where did the
Swings.
name Jimmy Swings come from?
So it's funny, we usually lie. I'm going to be very honest with you. Oh, hold on, real quick. I wanted to make a point about the boredom. We would travel 300 days a year, typically. before we were making any money, we were going 300 days a year because we never said no. We didn't have kids. We were very proud of the fact that we could travel for 3 months with a carry-on and a guitar and a backpack.
Yeah.
And on my strings as we go. We always loved it. We'd say yes to a show at a vineyard in Long Island that only paid us $200 and the flights were $400 and we stayed with friends. We'd spend money to play shows. Our oldest, before he turned 2, was on 200 flights. You know, he'd fly once a week for the first 2 years of his life. Complete, like, amazingness. The very first time we kind of paused was when she got pregnant with this kid, this beautiful, lovely child named Paloma. When she got pregnant with Paloma, we stopped. And so we're home for like a couple months after being gone, always adrenaline, going.
Right.
And I have this big hat I wear at shows. And when I'm at home, it sits next to my bed on the wall. I have like a hat hook on the wall.
Okay.
A hat stand. And it sits there. And I was going to bed and I literally, and it's part of why I started baking too. I needed some kind of rush. Right. And so that's why I do like difficult bakes too, like croissants that take 2 days and all stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Because if I'm gonna fail, I want to be I want to be devastated.
Oh. Yeah.
I don't want to be able to just like fix it up in 2 minutes.
Makes sense.
So one night I was particularly bummed.
He's a little bit dramatic. Let's just.
I'm the drama queen.
A little dramatic.
100% the drama queen.
I love it.
One night I was having a tough time going to bed. Like literally I couldn't bring myself to even just get in bed. Because I felt like I wasn't accomplishing anything, wasn't doing anything.
Which all the moms out there are like, oh yeah,
Right.
Yeah. You got home and you felt like you weren't doing anything.
No, we were busy, but we weren't like, I was busy. I'm not don't make me out to be like the dad that didn't do anything.
He does more.
I do plenty. I don't do more.
Well, I mean, being used to like the rush of a show every night for years and years, that's a weird
100%.
thing to adjust to.
Yeah.
So I literally stripped down to my boxers. I put my hat on and I asked Amanda to applaud.
Well, to be clear, he stripped down to his boxers because he was getting into bed.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, I have a special show for you.
No.
Right.
He was just about to get in bed and he put his hat on. And
I put the hat on. I was like, I know this is going to sound weird as I'm putting my big hat on, but do you mind just clapping for me? And I swear it worked.
That's very vulnerable, honestly. That's the most vulnerable thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
And I took the hat off, I put it on the hook, and I slept like a baby.
Can you just clap for me?
I just need a little something. You're ringing in my ears as I go to sleep.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
And you asked me about something else. I'm sorry, Katelyn. I'm very excited.
No, it reminded me because I saw you guys show last summer at the Ace.
Oh, wow.
Out here in LA. It was amazing.
I was pregnant.
Yeah, you were.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that was the last show of tour, so it was probably like a little
It
while.
was great. I remember you guys mentioning that, and I could tell you guys were like, woo, we're home.
Oh, yeah.
Which is great, but I do remember the hat. I feel like it's a big moment of the show. Like at the beginning, it's like silhouetted.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All backlit.
Yes, exactly. No,
it gets bigger and bigger the longer we tour.
Do what?
So his hats just keep getting bigger and bigger. It's like when you cut a tree open, you can see how long it's been alive. That's like too with the hat. Like the bigger the hat's, how many years we've been on the road. You know.
I used to have like the little Jason Mraz thing. I used to have just like the bill came out to here, and now I go to like give Amanda a hug, and I'm hitting her from like 3 feet away.
Like bruises all over my head from his hats from him trying to hug me.
It's genius. Oh my God. And because you guys were just out on tour with Lauren Daigle before all this.
That's right.
Yeah. For like a
playing
brief second,
arenas.
it felt like.
It was supposed to be 50 shows, 53 shows, something like that. First time playing Madison Square Garden, playing Oracle Arena in Oakland. All these like amazing venues. We got through 7 of them.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how many did you get through? 7.
Yeah, not that many. And what was the bummer was, I mean, especially for a tour that size, like for her stage was like incredible. It was like this beautiful, massive build.
Yeah.
And so everybody, on tour after a while, you're like, you got your jobs down. Everybody knows where they're supposed to be. Everybody like started building these like inside jokes because you see people like catering at the same time and whatever. And you like start to build these moments. And we were kind of like all getting to the point where we were like our shows were getting like locked in enough to where we could all kind of relax. We knew where we were supposed to be. There wasn't a lot of wild cards happening anymore.
Right.
So it was just kind of like settling into that groove. And then it was like the rug was kind of pulled from under us. And for a while, we thought like when it first got like postponed, we were like, oh, it's a couple weeks, like
4 weeks off.
Yeah, we're only really gonna miss like 4 or 5 shows, then we'll be right back. And then like, so I don't feel like we even had like a proper goodbye, especially for like our our.
I need to eat something. Sorry.
Could you hear that?
I got the biggest stomach growl.
Okay. But especially for like our crew, you know, like our guys that are, you know, everybody's spread out. Like they're in Florida, they're in Nashville, they're all kind of spread out, and we kind of gave each other like high fives. See you guys in a couple weeks, and then now we're like, can we get on Zoom and just like.
Can I watch you drink?
Yeah, can somebody just tell me that I only have 10 minutes left and I have to hurry, or, you know.
Can somebody yell at me, please? For something other than cleaning?
Yeah,
exactly.
It's so tough, like all the little things. I was getting ready to go on a little tour as well, and luckily, I guess luckily, it didn't ever start, but like it was days away from starting. So that was another feeling of just being like.
No, because you like build up for like.
Excitement.
That's rough.
I know,
so much excitement, and.
I know.
You're like, you stare at a tour schedule for so long before, and even though you have no clue of like which dates you're where, you know, at least for me, like I'm like, somebody be like, you're coming to my hometown. Great.
Where's that?
I have no idea. But you kind of are like, you gear up and you're like, oh, I'm going to go to this restaurant and I can't wait to like see this person here and whatever. And you're like, it's an adrenaline rush to pack up your life and go. And then, that's a bummer when you just never even get to leave.
Like for instance, for you coming from outside of Savannah, Georgia, coming to LA, like when you risk a lot to come out across the country in a place where everybody else is super talented doing stuff, and you make a way for yourself by hard work, some luck, and a lot more hard work. And you really, it's easy to say it's addicting, right? To be on tour, the applause is nice if you get it, because that's not always a guarantee either.
Right.
You know, that win, that risk that leads to a win, you're hopeful, you're excited, you're risking a lot by being out there. It becomes like kind of your identity. Like, I risked everything for this way of life. Absolutely everything. Like, friends that I don't have anymore, you know, whatever. And then all of a sudden, in a day, we're about to walk on stage, just another day. Our managers pull us aside. No, they don't even pull us aside. They call our tour manager. Tour manager pulls us aside with the managers on speakerphone.
So it's always bad news, you know?
Never good when tour manager has manager on speakerphone. Hey, guys, need you for a second. Pull you in a private room, and one of our managers goes, all right, this is the last show. I say, what now? Yeah, it's the last show. They're pulling the plug. We're postponing. Oh, man.
It's so weird.
It's
I know we were all kind of expecting it, and then it was just like, wait, really?
Yeah, 100%.
I started laughing, 100%. Like just like you are now. Like I was like, what? Why am I laughing? Like I had like a weird reaction where it was like I was expecting it. You know, I thought it was the wise thing to do. Like I was like, this is good. We're in arenas. We probably shouldn't be in arenas. A couple of the arenas that we were in already had NBA players in it that had tested positive later. You know, so we were like, this is probably a good move to like.
Like we played in OKC 2 days before they shut down the game, the Oklahoma City basketball game in that arena. And they like got the players out. They canceled the game as it was about to tip off.
Yeah, it was like right around the same time. So it felt like the right thing, but it's definitely like my brain didn't know how to process.
No.
It was too much. My brain went overload, and all I could do was laugh like a moron.
Yeah, I laughed and then cried for a whole weekend.
Yeah.
100.
I mean.
Oh, you asked how we got the name Johnny Swim. Amanda's got a great story.
Wait, what?
I remember what she had asked before I went on the tirade about the hat and my underwear.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
She asked where we got the name Johnny Swim, and I was saying, if Amanda tells it best. We normally lie because it's a silly sounding name, so she get a silly sounding answer. But whenever we tell the truth, Amanda really does the best job of describing kind of the bittersweetness of it.
So it's kind of like a long, drawn out story, but I'll try to make it as succinct as possible. But I haven't told them in like a really long time. Anyway, so we met in Nashville in 2005, and we met over MySpace because we're old.
Yes, top 8.
Top 8. And there was a guy named Johnny on there who lived actually in a really small town outside of Nashville towards Knoxville, and he had a little macaroon shop. Macaron, which is like very strange for like, I think it was Crossville or Cookville or something like that. I can't remember.
It was up on the plateau.
Somewhere in the plateau. Anyway, at some point we had just met. I was driving with him to a show in Knoxville. And we stopped in this little town to get these macarons, and there was a macaron, and there was a snowstorm, like a whiteout snowstorm.
Oh wow!
And I was driving his car, and it was stick, and I wasn't very comfortable with it.
Oh
and
my
so
God!
We have to pull over, whatever. We found this little shop, and we like made friends with this guy, and he told us this whole story about how when he was growing up, he couldn't swim. And it was like this big kind of thing where people made fun of him all the time. And it became something that he like carried a lot of shame about. And so we ended up like making friends with him for a long time. And he told us sort of how he finally learned to swim. And he was like 60 years old, had started this little pastry shop. He was so like the sweetest man alive. And he told us this whole story about how he would go to the Y and he like slowly taught himself to swim, and how even after he learned to swim, like letting go of like the past, letting go of the shame that kind of came along with not being able to swim his whole life. That was harder than learning to swim, obviously. And so, but he did, and he had this whole story with like, do you remember the story that he would tell with like the macarons, like meaning?
No, it was like a family significance.
Yeah.
It was like some metaphor his dad had made about macaroons, about the toughness of life really being the shell that preserves the sweetness on the inside. Like all this, and how the difficult times, like the heat of the oven or whatever. He had this whole like, macarons were like life for him.
He had this whole thing. Anyway, so as we like moved forward, we were writing songs, we were doing whatever. We kept kind of, people would ask us for names, and we were like, we don't know. Like, I'm not Amanda, I don't know. And there was like, you know, more duos coming out, and they all had cool names. And we were like, I don't know how to like pull a cool name. So we sat down, we talked about what is something that matters to us. What do we feel like what's something that we've related to in a way that we both can kind of agree on? And Johnny was one of it. And so we were like, swim, Johnny, swim. Is it going to be something with swimming and Johnny? And then it just kind of escalated to Johnny.
Wow, that's amazing. I love
story.
that. That's such a good story.
Thank you.
That's amazing.
I just love saying French words.
That's so sweet. And I always feel like that story and like all its meaning really does encapsulate kind of what you guys stand for. Just like, I don't know, like family and community and just being there, and like, I don't know, that's just you guys is like, you just ooze this joy and like I don't know.
It's so sweet.
Does that make sense?
Thank you.
It's incredibly kind of
you.
Same to you, for sure. Look at that smile.
I know, exactly.
No, but that's so cool. And so you guys became a band and you started touring. Like you said, you would just do anything. Was there a moment where you're like, oh, I think people are like coming back. I think people are liking this. I think more people are showing up.
So far down the road. That moment, I cry. I remember we would play, like he said, we would say yes to everything. We played a lot of coffee shops. We played a lot of Asian fusion restaurants for like 4 hours.
Yo, the Asian fusion circuit during dinner. Are you kidding me?
That dinner
you played
Asian
a
fusion
couple
set.
cover songs.
Not a terrible gig. And were you guys just like getting these shows yourself, or like?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
If somebody would ask us to play, we would just be like, yeah, sure. They'd be like, oh, you sing? Y'all want to come play? Yep, sure.
We got $50 to come play for 4 hours.
You know, and Nashville was up and coming, so there's all these new coffee shops, and all the new coffee shops always had like, you know, a little stage, and so we would sing at all these coffee shops. And I remember our friends who were like so dear and so sweet would always show up for us and be like the same 12 people.
Yeah.
And I remember playing a show and him being like, hey, there's this new coffee shop they want us to play. It's in a really cool part of town. It's gonna be dope. And I was like, it's gonna be our friends. Like, I feel bad because like,
we just played a show too.
You know, like,
I know exactly that feeling.
They pay the cover. I feel bad. Like they don't need to come. I don't. Let's not do it. And he was like, no, come on, it's gonna be great. We did it. It was just our friends. And I literally just sat in the car and cried and was like, I just want to play for people that I don't know.
Oh my God.
And that took about probably 5 years before it was like steadily like, oh, I really don't know these people. And they're bringing friends, and I don't know their friends either.
Right.
It was like we did a little like hotel cafe residency thing, and that's when you're like, okay, here we go.
But even that was crazy because you'd have 1 week where, you know, the first week of our residency at Hotel Cafe, like 17 people came. Then the next week, 32 people came. We're like, oh man, it's happening. And then the next week, 7 people came.
Never mind.
Like, it's not happening. Cool.
Gosh, it's such an up and down thing, and I totally know that feeling of like, I just want to play for people who aren't my friends or like my family or
100%. Oh, and my family, super supportive. They're probably watching this. They're always amazing, et cetera, but my mom is like, just cannot tell a lie.
Yeah. So
I'll come off stage all hyped sometimes and she'll be like, give me a hug. Okay. I was like, so what'd you think? She's like, what's that voice you do? I was like, the voice I do like on stage where I'm singing to people? She goes, no, it's the talking in between. I don't understand. It sounds like a different person. Who are you? I was like, I'm
nervous on stage, Mom.
Yeah.
She's like, it sounds like that commercial with the rice.
Satarange. You sound like Satarange.
Oh my gosh, that is a very tough critique.
Satarange.
Yeah.
Because I don't know about you guys, it's like, if I get up on stage and I'm singing, I'm like, okay, I'm nervous, but I'm used to it. But once I have to like talk, I'm like, so.
Well, I'm like the all-time worst. He is amazing at it.
I love talking.
He loves talking.
I mean, I've gotten better at it, but it's like if people are like, oh, do you want to give like a speech at my wedding or whatever? I'm like,
hard pass.
Yeah, but I immediately am like, if I'm saying anything sincere, just talking, I'm like so emotional immediately.
Yeah.
It's like it's way more vulnerable in a. I guess it's in a different way vulnerable, but
yeah.
Yikes! I literally just got nervous just you talking about this.
I love it. I live for it. It's the only class I passed in college was speech, public speaking class.
Well, apparently your mom had some notes. I mean,
yeah, mom's been critiquing me. I can't even imagine. Like, probably stuff I don't even remember. Like, as a kid, people over for dinner. Abner, tell a story. I tell a story. Later, she comes back. Listen, you didn't really develop the second act of that story very well.
His dad was like the quintessential amazing storyteller. He was a pastor and a storyteller.
Yeah,
and he was a poet, and he had a way with words. And he would tell you, and he may have told you the story 8,000 times, but he was going to tell it to you again. And if you broke eye contact, you'd be very disappointed because there was going to be a tear coming at some point, and he wanted to make sure you saw it because he meant it. Man. He wasn't like acting. It was like
he meant it. He was telling Amanda's story once. My dad passed 8 years ago, something like that. So a while ago, he was telling Amanda's story. We were just married. Maybe we were just married.
Yeah.
And I've got 7 nieces and nephews in Jacksonville, Florida, in Marietta. They all participate in the Marietta bath. They were running around. They were real little, running around trying to get TT Panda, what they call Amanda's attention. But Dad had started in on this story that Amanda had heard no less than a dozen times about his father. And this time that some people were over, and his dad was telling him something about Jose Marti, the legendary Cuban poet, whatever. At the same part in the story, every time my dad ever told the story, would cry. Oh. And so Amanda's looking at him because she knows not to break eye contact while he's telling the story. So she's listening. Nieces and nephews are pulling at shirts. She's like really fighting hard to keep the eye contact. She's going. She's there. Nieces and nephews. Yeah, okay, I'll be right there, sweetie. I'll be right there. Dad gets to the point where he's about to cry. The nieces and nephews are pulling. I'll be right there, sweetie. I love you so much. In that split second that she looked away, he looks at me and in Spanish goes, and he says in Spanish, "Why do I even tell her a story if she's not going to listen? Why do I even try?"
It was 3 seconds. And he was like, "Dad, I mean, to be fair, she knows the story." But that was...
Why do I even tell a story for? What am I going to tell a story for? You're not even listening to me. Look at him.
He's he can be... And the thing about, I feel like him in particular and his dad, they could tell like the details for stories that, I don't know about you, but when I'm like, especially on stage, if I'm telling a story about a song or I'm like trying to say something important, all I can think of is my dad when I was like 4 getting like, get to the point, Amanda, get to the Amanda, you're talking in circles, get to the point. And so then I like try to like jump ahead, and then Abner's like, you should have really mentioned this key fact and that key fact because you didn't make sense. I'm like, take it. You missed the wrong
also, there's this sense of like, you wrote these songs, they mean so much to you, and then when you're on stage, you want to like get into all the details of like, and this is why I wrote it, and it's like most of the time people are like, yeah, we just want to hear the song.
I kind of like the song less now. So, thanks. I love Bob Dylan.
I had to do that a couple times, but for my dad to be like, maybe just shorten those a little bit, just let the song speak for itself.
Exactly.
Man, I just love talking though. So I'd rather tell you the story about the song than play it for you.
Do what? Yeah,
I'd rather tell you the story behind it for sure.
Yeah, same. But okay, so you guys, one thing I was wondering was like, okay, so you guys tour, you've been touring together, you've had kids, you bring them on the road. There's like, it's such a family unit. And I'm sure that brings a lot of stress and just like a lot of having to be really in tune with each other. And I don't know, it just sounds very overwhelming, but really fun as well. And so as a married couple, like you guys, I'm married as well. And I know there are days where you're just like, I'm literally, like, I'm so mad at you, I can't even look at you. But you guys have to get up and, like, do a very, like, loving show together and, like, sing these love songs to each other.
Oh, yeah.
Are there ever moments where you've been mad before a show and you didn't really get it over with before you had to start?
Oh, yeah. Let me say this. I'm very grateful I remember her dad, who's a
I don't
legendary.
have to answer this. I have to go turn my sourdough bread a little bit.
Oh,
All right.
yeah.
I'll fill you in all the great things I'm about to say.
Okay.
Take your time, babe. Take your time. No, take your time. I'll talk. I'm just kidding. I remember her dad, who's a legendary songwriter, Bruce Sudano. He wrote songs for like, Dolly Parton, Michael Jackson, Donna Summer. Like, dude had hits. He would always remind us that he had his first international #1 hit single when he was 19 years old. And he would tell us that while we were playing Asian fusion bars for 4 hours.
Right.
I remember
in your 20s.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, probably like almost 30.
Right.
He would say, and it's kind of it's a simple idea, and I'm sure people have heard this a million times, but it really stuck with me. We wrote a song. We were really trying to do something with it, like we were kind of out of ourselves in the song we wrote. Very not us, And he was like, "Listen, man, if that worked, that'd be the worst thing that could ever happen to you. If like that song succeeded in you not being yourself." Right. You have to be that person the rest of your life.
Right.
And you can't replicate something that you're not forever.
Right.
But if you can make a career being yourself, if you can find success being yourself, you'll never work a day in your life, but you'll never have to fake it. And it'll always come to you. So that really stuck with us. And we made a vow, and it was that the songs would always be honest. That we wouldn't just make stuff up. Like I remember my high school poetry. My high school poetry was making stuff up. Your eyes like the ocean breeze. Like I don't know about eyes being like an ocean. I don't just
sound right. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so our songs, one thing I'm proud of with our songs is that I mean all of them. Whether it's a sad song, breakup song, love song, like we mean them.
For sure.
There are, what do you say? Our son's being very cute over there.
Get him on
screen. Oh man.
He's making a movie because he's trying to earn money for a video game. And so I was like, well, do something you love. Like we do something we love and we make money doing it. What's something you love? And we'll figure out a way to make money doing it. So he's like, I want to make movies. So he's in there telling me the cast of characters, and he decided that one of our dear friends, Darren, should be a minion. So that's what he just told me.
So all that, I'm coming back to this arguing thing. I was talking about your dad encourages us to make songs honest, to make songs like ourselves, be you, and you never gotta fake it ever. So, and that we mean all our songs. Like there's I love it. We've definitely argued backstage, and it's always over the dumbest thing. It's never over something major. It's like the dumbest.
It's usually sleep. It's usually like fatigue.
Oh yeah.
It's like after a while with the kids and whatever, and on the road, and you're just like, I'm just tired, and we don't have any alone time on. Like everybody else has a bunk, right? We sleep in the back of the bus together with a baby
for the last 5 years.
For the last 5 years, so. Right. It's not like there's a lot of chances for us to like go someplace by ourselves. Like there's somebody in the green room. There's always somebody on the bus. So sometimes after a while, like,
we'll argue about literally anything. It won't be the argument itself.
Yeah, it's never.
It'll be the one thing you can't take back that you said that just kind of slipped out in the heat of it. And you're like, so you're gonna say that? Really? That's the thing you're gonna say? Yeah. We're not talking. And so we've had some things like that, and then we get up on stage and we have to sing like, what's one? Like I'll have to look at her.
Right.
I got tape on my fingers for some reason. Hold on, let me play something that we would have to play.
Yeah.
And the magic behind writing songs you mean is that you can't stay mad when you're like.
Why do I have to sing?
Because you open it up. So I'm pissed at her, right? And then she's looking across from me. We're sitting on one mic and she's looking at me.
Right.
And then he's like,
oh my God, I can't stand
what's funny is that it always happens. I will say we actually rarely fight on the road. Like we get like little, and those we get over pretty quickly. But when it does happen, there's always like one point where we're like, we'll look at each other, one of us like crack a smile, and then it's over. Then we're like, all right, we're good. But I feel like
it's never lasted more than a song.
It's literally never lasted more than
I feel like that's a good method to like, maybe all couples should try and implement. It's like write a song about each other and you have to sing it to each other.
Yeah.
If you're mad,
it's good.
Before we had a bunch of songs that we'd written together, if we'd ever gotten in a fight, or not even fight, when would we do 10 seconds of
we would do 10 seconds of uninterrupted eye contact, which started as a joke. But it's normally if it's like somebody's either having a rough day or if somebody does something nice. She brought me coffee. I'm gonna give you 10 seconds. And we started as a joke. And
no talking, just like looking into each other's eyes. For 10
why
seconds.
is that actually kind of nice?
Yeah, that's
kind of nice.
Because you really never do it.
Yeah, for like that long, and when you're not like just, especially, you know, like on the road and whatever, and there's a bunch of stuff happening, to just look at each other in the eye and just, it's like a little moment of meditation, of appreciation.
Yes.
You know
I love
mean?
that. No, that makes so much sense. I love that.
It's crazy how music works too. We have a 5-year-old who, I don't want to say that he's a jerk sometimes because I'm his mom, but you know, find a better way of saying it.
I think you're the only one who can say that.
You know?
Exactly, that's true.
And so he wanted to write a song one day, and he came up to me and said, "Mom, I have an idea for a song. I want to write it today. It's called I'm Gonna Love You Right Now." And so we wrote this whole song called "I'm Gonna Love You Right Now," and with him.
No.
And
I don't know if this is what you want me to do.
And no, not at all. Right.
Well, I'm doing it.
Okay. He's gonna play it.
Great.
Anyway, but it's crazy because even with him, like, we'll have a day where he's just like throwing tantrums or just being like, and you're like, oh my gosh, go to bed. And then he'll be like, Mommy, can you sing me that song? And it like reminds you, like, okay, he's gonna get older. I'm gonna love you right now where you are. And did we mean that for that to happen when we wrote it? Not at all. We were just like having fun, you know. But I feel like the same thing happens with us, like on stage. No, oh my gosh.
I love you. I'm gonna love you right now.
Oh yeah.
I love you. I'm gonna love you right now.
Why should I wait for tomorrow when who knows what sorrows may come? Even trees, they bloom. They find a reason even when the season's done.
I love you. I'm gonna love you right now. I love you. I'm gonna love you right now. We wrote that with our 4-year-old.
Okay, that was entirely too much.
You missed the end of the song. Talks about tomatoes being ripe enough to eat them, and things like touching cactuses.
Because we'd always yell at him, he'd pull the tomatoes up. No, wait till they're red. And so he made that a lyric.
That's funny. Oh, that was so sweet. I'm sure everyone watching loved that, so thanks for playing it.
If you didn't, I'm sorry.
If you didn't, I'm so sorry. You don't have to be watching this.
So sorry.
No, I really, really appreciate like how you guys, you know, I feel like there's this idea, you know, kind of constantly being told to us, whether it's, you know, with music or dreams or family, that it's like, well, you can either have family or you can have a dream, or you can have a career, or you can have this, or you can be this, or you can be that. And there's so many like limitations that we put on ourselves,
100%.
whether it's, you know, from inside or from the outside or whatever. And I just love that you guys have continued to be like, oh, you know, even like working together as husband and wife. There's a lot of like, you know, sometimes that doesn't work for everybody, but it doesn't mean it doesn't ever work at all.
Right.
I think there's so much, you know, it's so cool how you guys have continued to push past like these limitations that could have been set on you of like, oh, well, we can't tour with 3 small children. And it's like, you know, you were just out opening for Lauren Daigle, playing arenas. It's crazy. I know it's a lot probably to figure out and like try and do, but I think there's something so powerful about doing it and not putting those limitations on yourself and looking and seeing how it all can work. And that's really inspiring to me, you know, as someone who does music and wants a family and is all sometimes like, oh, like, how does it all play out? And I think it's just cool to see people living that life and being like, it can work.
Yeah, man. We really believe that it's part of the reason we're on this planet, Amanda and I.
Yeah.
Is to help as many people as will listen, and even some that won't maybe, to understand that you don't have to pick a lane. You don't have to either have a career or a family. You don't have to, you can bend. You don't just all of a sudden break when things are difficult or when things become, I think especially here in America, like everything's, you know, find your lane and pick your lane, find a lane, pick that lane, and then stay in your lane, right?
Yeah.
Like, do that thing. That's all that you do. That's all we're gonna give you credit to do. Like, why? Every single human, every life, every story is bespoke and custom fit to them. Nobody's life, nobody gets another chance to be Katelyn. Nobody comes up 200 years from now and is like, all right, Katelyn did fine 200 years ago, but now it's my turn to do Katelyn, and I'm going to do it better than she did. She has some opportunities. No, this is you. This is absolutely you. This is the only me that the universe is ever going to give us. This is the only man of grace that we're ever going to be graced with in the history of the planet Earth.
Right.
Why in the world would I subject myself to believing all the things I can't do, the things that are impossible for me?
Yeah.
I am a once in history expression of God himself, a gift to this earth. I believe it. I believe every single person is a gift to the planet. Like, why not? Why not find absolutely everything you were meant to do? Why not get it all? You want a family? You got dreams for a career? The answer is yes.
Yeah.
Is it going to be hard? Absolutely.
Are you going to play for your 12 friends? Yeah, probably.
Are you going to cry after they showed up faithfully for 25 shows in a row, but you realize that maybe you picked the wrong career? Yeah.
Absolutely. Are you
just keep
going
going.
Meltdowns?
Yeah.
Asking yourself if this is the right thing to do? Yes.
We were on a phone call once with some people that have become dear friends of ours, and we realized in one quick moment that we were going to be dear friends. It's a couple, Chip and Joanna Gaines. They had like a huge TV show, Fixer
I'm
Upper.
familiar. Mm-hmm.
No, they're awesome, and they've, in a big way, a friend of ours, Andy Baxter, said they sent the elevator down. They've sent the elevator down for us in a big way. But we were on a phone call with them once, and Joanne, I believe, was the one that said it. She said, we were listening to your album. We really feel like you guys are kindred spirits. We feel, and she said this about them, we feel like we were put on this earth. Part of our path is to help people understand you don't have to choose between family and career, that you can have both. And we feel like you guys
can both be healthy.
And make them both healthy.
Yeah.
Do it both well.
Yeah.
And we feel like you guys are on the same path. And that was really, it's become kind of like a thesis for like what we're doing here. That's why we're taking up the oxygen that we do.
Yeah, it's really cool and it's really powerful. So I appreciate it.
Yeah. And there's a whole TV show about it now. Home on the Road.
Hey. Yeah, I mean, you guys have been doing a lot of cool things. Like, obviously, you're not on tour right now, so you've been coping in your own ways. But one of the things that you guys have been doing is writing songs with strangers on Instagram Live.
Yeah.
Which is insane.
It's one of the proudest musical experiences of my life.
Yeah.
Is doing songs with strangers. I'm talking too much.
No,
go
for it.
It's honestly based, I just heard a thud. But I didn't
I
just
hear him
scream.
cry.
Maybe it's a
It
part
was
of the
a thud
movie.
followed
Just
by
let
a
him, he's finding the characters.
He's either passed out or he's
No, he's got
okay.
people out the room. His sister will scream. It's one of the proudest musical experiences of my life, literally. Because we'll get on Instagram Live. We'll absolutely at random select a person that joins our live.
Yeah.
And we'll spend the rest, like the next 3 hours, 4 hours of them writing a song, hearing their story, getting their input. They're writing lyrics. They're not just telling us stories and we're writing to it. They're giving us their perspective, even their opinion on where the song should go. I remember Maddie, one of the girls that we wrote the very first song with, the song called Wait. She picked the key of B minor. So first thing we do is we let them pick a key. Right? Pick a letter between A and G, because most of them don't know what a key means. So she picked B, and then I say pick major or minor. She said minor. And so we write this whole thing in B minor. It's really cool.
Wow.
I don't know what it is, but like in the chorus, I would love for it to go to like the happier chord in that thing. So major. All right, let's go to major at the chorus.
Right.
And every single song is one of my favorite Johnny Swim songs ever.
Whoa.
Full stop. One of my favorite Johnny Swim songs ever. Yeah. We've written 4 so far.
It feels like such a cool exercise and like a different approach probably to writing songs, which I feel like can always be really refreshing.
It's similar to the idea of it's a different way. It is a different approach, just like maybe learning how to do a backflip is probably different as you're falling off of a plane. Like, it's just a much riskier situation.
Right.
Like, because we say we're going to write, record, and release this song within 13 hours. Staking our word to it. Here we go. We're going to do it.
It started with like in one day, and I was like 24 hours, and Adam's like, no, we're gonna do it tonight. Like, I'm not going to bed until it's done. So I will hear it in the morning. I'm gonna let you finish.
And every one of those songs,
they have.
Every one of those songs is out. I'm proud of every one of them. By the time, so we upload them to SoundCloud that night. Within 13 hours has been our magic number. 13 hours from the moment we get online, before we even pick a person.
Okay.
The morning of Songs with Strangers, Johnny Swim has a new song coming out that night that they haven't written.
Yeah.
Which I just love the idea.
I love that. Yeah.
It's absolutely bananas. But it makes you like, like if we were writing a song today, we could sit, we could have a chorus idea and be like, does that say it?
Yeah.
Does that say it? Is this chord right? Does it do it? And it's like, no, it says it because it said, so we're gonna keep moving.
Right. Yeah, that's nice. It's rare to have such a like short deadline to have to finish something.
Yeah.
Probably really good.
100%. And we've taken a few weeks off because it takes an absolute toll.
Oh,
like,
yeah, I bet.
I think emotionally. The first song we wrote with Maddie Stanitsky and Chantel, and it was Maddie's story. She lives in Atlanta. Her boyfriend, fiance, lives in San Antonio. He's in the military. He's moving to California. He had packed up his apartment, out of his apartment, the day before he was getting on the plane with all the stuff to move to California. California got shut down. He's been living in a hotel in San Antonio. She was waiting in Atlanta for him to get to LA, to California somewhere.
Right.
To join him. They're going to get married, start their life in California together, and the whole thing's been put on pause by this pandemic. Powerful, beautiful story. We wrote a song called Wait because of it. The last song we wrote, probably the most special and really the most like exhausting one for us because it takes so much heart to write, is a song called Still Wonderful. We wrote with Becca, starts with a G. What's her last name? Gore. Becca Gore. And Becca, we're writing with her. She's a mom of 4 or 5 kids, and her husband passed away 5 years ago from leukemia. And the day he was buried was the day of their 10-year wedding anniversary. And it was, so we wrote the story called Still Wonderful because she was like, it's terrible and it's painful and it's bad, but somehow it's still wonderful. And she's a really faith-filled person. And she would talk a lot about how she's a pastor. And she would talk a lot about how God, even in the midst of this horrible thing that's happened to her and to her family, to her kids, is still so faithful and still so beautiful. And life still has so much flavor, even though some of it was so bad. It's still beautiful. It's still wonderful.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. All that to say is we're back on Thursday doing Songs of Strength. A lot of people have been asking.
Okay, so you're going to do it on this Thursday.
This Thursday, day after tomorrow?
Yeah, we start around now.
Yeah.
We start around this time.
Yeah. Okay,
whenever
cool.
the girls take a nap.
Well, everyone, definitely be sure to check that out, and maybe you'll get your own Johnny Swim song.
I know.
Heck yeah.
And then you have the show on the Magnolia Network, right?
Yes.
Is there? Do you know when that's gonna come out, or is it kind of?
No,
not a clue.
It was supposed to come out in October.
Yeah.
Sorry, you talk.
Yeah, it's supposed to come out in October. We don't know.
And that is sort of gonna be just like a show about you guys on tour and.
Yep, it's 6 episodes, and it kind of follows us on the tail end of tour. And strangely enough, we started filming right before the big tour, the tour that you saw. And I just found out I was pregnant, and we were not expecting to be pregnant at all. We were not be pregnant. Right. And and so it kind of captures basically the whole pregnancy. It kind of starts off like us going on this tour, finding out I'm pregnant. Oh, wow. Kind of some of the highlight shows, throughout the year.
But it's about how to balance. People always ask me, what's the balance? How do you balance family and tour? Yeah. You don't. It's like juggling, or it's like baking. Like you don't balance your yeast and salt like that. It becomes something else entirely when it comes together. Yeah. And so the show's about that. It's about the thing that gets created when we start throwing in all these ingredients of career, the dreams of career, the dreams of family, and building them all at the same time. Yeah. That's what the show's about. It's really
it's a lot of us going, how is this going to work? I don't know. It's basically the show. What are we going to do?
That's amazing. I actually played a show in Waco at the coffee shop there, Common Grounds. In September, and that was my first time in Waco. Went to Magnolia, did the whole thing.
Oh, nice!
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's so fun. It's like a little wonderland.
Really I know, it really is. I was like, I feel like the whole town of Waco is just Magnolia.
Oh yeah,
it's beautiful.
Like Baylor and Magnolia.
Yeah,
and like all the companies around them.
Yeah, there's all sorts of like things popping open. Oh, it's obviously like has had a groundswell of creativity there for a long time, because it's not like all this just came up out of nothing. Like, it's all been in the water for a while. Now it's just kind of given an opportunity to bloom there. So it's kind of fun to like see all these new restaurants and
I know
people coming there and starting new things with new visions. It's really like inspiring little town.
It is.
So if you have DIY channel is going to be turning into the Magnolia Network. DIY Network is turning into Magnolia Network.
Okay.
And there will be 2 TV shows starring us. One, Home on the Road, story of family and tour It's like the Johnny Swim life. And then the other one is Bake It Till You Make It. I have a baking show on my LA network. Well, where I will be cooking up and failing and succeeding and failing and succeeding and failing. It's a food show.
Wow. Well,
and I will be eating and getting fatter and eating and getting more fatter. More fatter. Is that the right term?
More fatter now.
More fatter and more fatter.
More fattery.
Well, that's amazing. This has been so much fun. I really, really appreciate you guys taking the time to come on and hang.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Thank you for being an adult that I can talk to.
No,
other than me. He keeps saying that. He's like, I just want to talk to somebody. I'm like, well, I'm here. And he's like, somebody I'm not really related to.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's honestly why I started this. I was like, I just want to get an outlet and be able to talk to people other than the people in my house.
Somebody just texted us that the LA stay-at-home order is going to be extended for 3 more months.
What?
Yeah.
Sorry to break the news.
Okay, I did not need to end with that news.
Right. It's
so I'd like with that news. Right? I'd like to announce that we're going to keep doing this every day.
I feel like I could cry.
100.
It's like
100.
Well, great.
We don't know that that's confirmed. That was sent in a text message that.
Yeah.
But it was on a link.
We'll see. I mean, honestly, it's like, oh, shocking, but it's really not. It's kind of like, oh, the tour's canceled. It's like, oh, well, I saw it coming, but.
Right, exactly.
Man, I just feel bad for all my favorite restaurants that.
I know.
My favorite bars. Do you ever go to, I don't know what part of town you're in, Foreman's? Do you ever go to Foreman's in the Valley?
I have been to Foreman's. I live on the east side.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, random question. Speaking of you living on the east side, have you smelt the disgustingness of LA air the last?
Yes.
We like. Have you been walking around your house going, what died? And where is this trash smell coming from?
Yes.
It's the algae.
Is it?
It's like the red algae. And if you go at night, it's like, bioluminescent.
Yes,
central.
yes.
But we were walking around like, what the heck smells? And then I looked on Twitter and everybody was talking about it. And they were saying that they could smell it all the way there. And I was like,
yeah, no, I definitely smelled it.
And that's so weird. And you're like, who is having an issue? Who needs bananas?
You need bananas.
Oh my gosh. Well, we're all gonna make it through.
Yeah.
We're gonna put out 26 songs of strangers. You can do 300 episodes.
Get ready, guys. Get in line. But I love you guys' music. I love what you're all about. I've sang your song "Touching Heaven" at my friend's wedding.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yay.
You have a new song coming out on Friday that I can't wait to hear. You teased us with it yesterday.
I did.
Yesterday, the day before.
Yes.
I'm so stoked to hear it in its entirety.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm really excited to share it. But yeah, I just really appreciate you guys taking the time to come on. It was so fun.
It's an honor.
Flew by.
Thanks for having us.
All right, guys. Well, have a good one, and I'll talk to you soon.
We'll talk again in July.
Yeah. Okay.
When we're all still here.
We're still here. Oh, bye.
All right. Thanks, guys.
See ya.
Love you.
Oh, man. That was amazing. That flew by. It's already been an hour. Thank you so much, Johnny Swim, for coming on. I love them. I'm such a big fan of their music and just everything they're about. So go check out their music. They have a bunch of albums out that are all so good. And like they said, they're doing Songs with Strangers on this Thursday. And it's really, really cool. And they have all the lives up on their website. You can go hear the songs they've read and watch the ones they've done. And it's a really, really cool idea. So go check that out. And yeah, I'll be back tomorrow with Corey Harper, which is going to be super fun. And yeah, all right, y'all. Thanks again to Johnny Swim. And I will talk to you guys tomorrow. All right, bye.